Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Come on, Bertolino. He's delayed. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Welcome to J is for Justice. My name is Jay. I'm your host, and I hope you had a great turkey day. Gobble, gobble. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know in chat if you can hear. Sometimes we have some audio issues here. Hey, Sandman, and where's Angie B? Happy Thanksgiving. Potato. Happy British Thanksgiving. I know there's no such thing. Welcome. You are at J is for Justice. You are not at Dodge Correctional. Hey, Cotton Candy Boobs. The prisoners are the turkeys. Are you guys all full? I have to admit that I ate my Watts style dinner. There's the ends of it. There's the ends of the Watts meal. I had the identical meal. You're going to hear all about it. You guys probably had something similar too. I was actually really surprised. Hey, Smoke and Jay. I was really surprised that they got such a good meal. Let's talk about it. This comes from In Touch Weekly. Chris Watts is about to spend another Thanksgiving behind bars as he serves 5 life sentences at Dodge Correctional in Waupun, Wisconsin. Watts, 37, and other inmates at the facility will get to enjoy a traditional Thanksgiving meal on the holiday. And this is according to a meal received from In Touch by Dodge. Exclusively, it says. Exclusively. You need a bite for the Twilight Zone? How come none of my bites are working? We need at least a reverter. Let's see if this reset the reverterized. I figured we'd keep it a little lighthearted since it is Thanksgiving. We talk about heavy stuff. Obviously, Watts is solved. It's a solved case. And these little tidbits pop up at me. And I'm going to just, keep the content light, but also be able to come on and say Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Share a little bit of my leftover traditional Thanksgiving. So it says here that the inmates will be offered a meal that includes roast turkey, chicken gravy, I don't hear any bites. You guys might hear them, but I don't. Chicken gravy, mashed potatoes, bread stuffing, cranberry sauce, corn, rolls, butter, pumpkin pie, and skim milk. Sounds like a pretty good meal to me. Did I use seasoning? Casey. No bites, Potato says. No bites. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a pretty good meal. Considering that Leilani, the police chief there, said she doesn't deserve a Thanksgiving meal and she's not going to get one. It doesn't sound like they're going to be having this. Now, while the inmates will be able to celebrate the holiday with a traditional meal, it's not clear if they will be able to participate in any special activities. Watts previously admitted to murdering his wife, Shanann, who was 15 weeks pregnant at the time, and their 2 daughters, Bella and Celeste in 2018. Very sad case. But yeah, even pumpkin pie and a little glass of skim milk. But, I was thinking a lot about this lately. I don't know why. It just sometimes these things pop in my head. And I remembered a few things that Chris said. And I remember when they did the interview in Wisconsin, and they were like, I think Tammy Lee asked, what do you miss most about Shanann, or what do you miss, or something along those lines. And it was her cooking. And at the time, I was just like, oh, wow. But now that I look back, I think, gosh, that's kind of like a chauvinistic response. It kind of gives me a little insight that I didn't have before. And it only took me 5 years or 4 years to come to that conclusion. But yeah, no cornhole after, no Yahtzee, no Jenga or whatever the hell, Uno. Those games we play on holidays. I miss that. I miss the games after dinner and pie. Your kids get older and things change, don't they? So let's see who else is going to be sharing this pumpkin pie with Chris Watts. Well, first, let's talk about Dodge. Let's show you a little bit about Dodge. Let's talk a little bit about Dodge. So we have Dodge Correctional. If you guys didn't know, I'm going to give you a little history on Dodge Correctional. It used to be called the Central State Hospital for the Criminally Insane. So it used to be an insanity mental hospital. And it was built in, like the early 1900s. 1912? No, earlier than that. 1900. So, this was a state mental hospital, and then in 1993, it was doubled in size. Okay, so it was in 1977. That was when they stopped using it as a mental hospital, and they converted it to the Dodge County Correctional Institution. So from 1900 to 1977, it was an insane asylum. So do you guys think that this place could be kind of like haunted or a little freaky? Because they added on. So there's still an old part. And I don't know like who's housed in the older part. But that's an old building. Ya's daughter, I don't know all of his case. Why didn't he get the death penalty for 4 deaths? Because he took a plea bargain. Plus, they were about to abolish the death penalty in Colorado anyways. Bama, you can put ! email and it will give you the email. So in 1993, it was doubled in size. And when it was the Central State Hospital for the Criminally Insane, I don't know if HJ is here, but Ed Gain resided here before being moved to the Mendota Mental Hospital. So HJ's man, Ed Gain, was there in the mental hospital. And then John Schrank for his attempt on Theodore Roosevelt. So John Schrank attempted to kill President Teddy Roosevelt. He was in there from 1912 until 1943. Pretty weird. I never knew that. So there's a few pictures here of current day Dodge. It says here, this is an enormous facility. This is from 2013. So now we go on. This is what it looked like. I thought this was kind of chilling. This is when it was the state mental hospital for the insane. This picture was taken in 1914. flow. Are you serious? That is crazy. Wow. Denver was getting rid of it following. Yeah, J Lord, thank you. Yeah, they got him to plea. Oh, yes, Daryl Brooks is going to be going there. I don't think he's been transferred there yet. I think he's still at like the central facility or in the county. But Daryl Brooks will be going here as well. Hi, Penguin. How you doing? So it was built between 1911 and 1914. Okay, so let's talk about who else is in there. Chris Coleman. Do you guys know the Chris Coleman case? I've never really dove into this one. I remember when it happened because it had to do with what's her name? And the religious lady. Anyways, we'll get to it in the story. But I forgot about this case. Like I heard about it when it happened a long time ago. So let me know if you guys have heard of the Chris Coleman case. Spitfire. My mom worked in a maximum security prison. Wow. Joyce Myers. Thank you, Aquarian. He wrote his letter. Brooks wrote his mom a letter saying he was scared. Did he really? Hey, Parawoman. Yeah, right now Chris Watts is working as a baker. So I think it's safe to say that Chris Watts probably baked those pumpkin pies. He probably baked those pumpkin pies. Okay. So Chris Coleman is in Dodge, and we'll just go through really quick what happened with Chris Coleman. Police in Columbia, Illinois walked into a house of horrors on the morning of May 5th, 2009. 31-year-old Sherry Coleman and her sons, 11-year-old Garrett and 9-year-old Gavin, had been strangled to death in their beds. It would take 2 years and thousands of man hours before they would have justice. Sherry Weiss met Chris Coleman at a K-9 training seminar at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio in 1997. She was 21 and in the Air Force, and Coleman was a Marine and he was 22. They dated just a few months before Weiss was pregnant with Garrett, and the two married. And then Gavin was born 2 years later. Chris Coleman grew up the son of Ron and Connie Coleman, evangelical pastors in Monroe County, Illinois. Joyce Meyer, a televangelist, I can't even say that, and head televangelist, and head of an international, wish I could play Roberta, Christian ministry who knew the Colemans, hired Chris to work on her security team. It wasn't long before Chris became Joyce's personal bodyguard, earning a salary of $100,000. Now look at the back of their house. Is that not eerily similar to the Watts house? Chris, Sherry, and their boys lived in a 2-story home in the 2800 block of Robert Drive in Columbia, Illinois, a short drive away from Chris's parents in Chester. Friends and neighbors described Chris and Sherry as a wonderful couple, with Gavin and Garrett a beautiful family. But in November 2008, a threatening email filled with obscenities is sent to Chris Coleman, Joyce Meyer, and her son. In January 2009, Coleman reached out to a neighbor who worked for the Columbia Police Department, Detective Sergeant Justin Barlow. He told Barlow and local authorities about a threatening letter that had been left in his mailbox. Police agreed to patrol the neighborhood, and Barlow installed a security camera pointed at the Coleman's mailbox. Neither the camera nor the extra patrols yielded any results. So this is the email here. It says, I'm sure this will make it to someone in the company. If you jackasses are like any other company, this will be someone's account. Pass this on to Chris. Tell Joyce to stop preaching the blank or Chris's family will die. If I can't get to Joyce, then I will get to someone close to her. And if I can't get to him, then I will kill his wife and kids. I know Joyce's schedule, so then I know Chris's schedule. If Joyce doesn't quit preaching the bullshit, then they will die. During the Houston conference, I will kill them all as they sleep. If I don't hit there, then I will kill them during the book tour or the trip to India. I know where he lives and I know they are alone. Blank them all and they will die soon. Tell that mother blank next time to talk to me, to let me talk to Joyce. She needs to hear what I have to say and now she will. So at this same time, Sherry told friends that Chris's demeanor changed and she suspected an affair. She also confided in a friend, if something happens to me, Chris did it. Holy hell. In late April, Chris contacted the police again with another note. I am giving you the last warning. You have not listened to me and you have not changed your ways. I have warned you to stop traveling and to stop carrying on with this fake religious life of stealing people's money. You think you are so special to do what you do, protecting or think you are protecting her. She is a blank and not worth you doing it. Stop today or else. I know your schedule. You can't hide from me ever. I'm always watching. I know when you leave in the morning and I know when you stay home. I saw you leave this morning. I will be watching. You better stop traveling and doing what you're doing. This is my last warning. Your worst nightmare is about to happen. On the morning of May 5th, 2009, Chris Coleman left his home to go work out at a gym in South St. Louis County. He called Sherry's cell phone and left a message. He texted her again while at the gym and called once more on his way home. Chris called Barlow and Columbia Police Department and requested they check on Sherry and the boys. Barlow met a Columbia police officer at the Coleman residence. They too discovered a basement window had been opened. The pair entered the basement and made their way through the house. During the search, they saw spray paint on the walls saying in big red letters, I am always watching. You have paid and punished. Police found the bodies of Sherry, Garrett, and Gavin in their beds. They had ligature marks on their necks, indicating they had been strangled with a cord or a rope. While police were searching the house, Chris had pulled into the driveway just before 7 a.m. Another officer had arrived and kept Chris outside the residence. Barlow and the other Columbia police officer leave the home and inform Chris his family is dead. Here's a text message from Sherry to her friend. She says, can you pray for me? And the friend says, of course, friend, what's up? And she said, Chris wants a divorce. Chris is taken to Columbia Police Headquarters and interviewed. Investigators suspected Chris could be involved in his family's deaths. Digital evidence recovered from Sherry's phone and Chris's laptop pointed to marital problems and pointed suspicion over an affair with a woman named Tara Lintz in Rolls Terra. As detectives grilled Chris, they learned Lintz was Sherry's friend and lived in St. Petersburg, Florida. What? Ew, why does it have to be so close to me? Chris told authorities he knew Lintz and the two were friends themselves. At this same time, officers in Florida were questioning Lintz about the nature of her relationship with Chris Coleman. A picture emerged of a man engaging in an affair with his wife's friend. The two had rendezvous in Arizona and Hawaii and exchanged numerous text pictures and videos of a sexual nature. So Chris Coleman did not attend her family's funeral. All the while, detectives were piecing together a case against Chris. Evidence was recovered from a stretch of Interstate 255 that Chris would take going to and from the gym. And cell phone showed it took him a little longer to get home. Investigators had very good reason to suspect Chris killed Sherry and their sons. After a conference call with pathologist Dr. Michael Baden, in which the doctor said Sherry and the kids were almost certainly murdered before Chris left the house that morning, police believe they had their man. But where's the evidence? Michael Baden doing a conference call? Like, what's the evidence? Chris Coleman was arrested on May 19th, 2009 at his parents' home and charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. Police said Coleman spray painted his walls to make it look like someone else killed his family. After lengthy delays and pushes to move the proceedings elsewhere, the trial began April 25th, 2011 in Waterloo, Illinois. So Dr. Baden testified about the time of death and what time Chris left, yada, yada, yada. And then after, there's Joyce Meyer. She had recorded testimony and she played in court. After 15 hours of deliberation over 2 days, the jury returned guilty verdicts on all counts on May 5th, the 2-year anniversary of the murders. Juror Kim Ferrari told Fox 2 after the conviction the jury believed Chris Coleman was guilty, but 4 of them needed more proof. They found it almost by accident on photographs that had been sitting in the jury room since deliberations began. I thought we were going to be a hung jury, but the more that we kept going, the more it made me see that we just had to keep after it, that we would find the information we needed, and we eventually found it. What they found were photographs of Chris Coleman and Tara Lintz on the back of a foam board with October 2008 dates printed on them, which proved to the jurors their affair began earlier than they had previously been told. When we found that bit of evidence, everyone was like, okay, we're done. So he was sentenced by the judge to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. And in 2011, he was transferred to Dodge. And then they exhumed the bodies of the kids and the wife, and they moved them. His family fought a protracted legal battle to keep the bodies in Chester, but a judge decided that a convicted murderer should not be able to keep control of his victims. Chris's own future gravesite would have been right next to his murdered wife and sons. Coleman's parents, who live in the southern Illinois town, said they had an equal right to be near their grandkids. The gravestone marking Sherry and her boys remained at Evergreen Cemetery because it had been paid for by Ron and Connie Coleman. Weird. Ron and Connie are his parents' names. Weird. Ron and Connie and Ronnie and Cindy. Isn't that a little odd? Hang on, I'm trying to fix something. Oh, wow. He did an interview with Crime Watch Daily. Coleman and his attorneys attempted to appeal his prison term yet again, but in January 2015, a judge upheld the conviction. In April 2018, he did the interview and he said, quote, actually, what never came out in court is I had 2 laptops and I traveled with one and I left the other one either at home or at the office, he said. They were never both on me at the same time. And the one that was connected to the threats was the one that I would either leave at home or at work. His dad is also a pastor. Pastor Ron Coleman insisted his son was innocent. And his dad said, well, I mean, every man has his desires and every man has to be respected. It's built into every man. If your wife doesn't respect you, then you're going to find respect someplace else. When asked if he thought Sherry was being a bad wife, Ron Coleman said, just that at that short brief when she stepped back from doing her job as a wife. Also in April, attorneys filed a request for a new trial on Coleman's behalf based on a claim of improper evidence, specifically those extra photos jurors discovered that led them to a conviction. A judge granted an evidentiary hearing in March 2019 to move the proceedings forward, but in July of 2020, that same judge denied the appeal for a new trial. And what about the Coleman's home on Robert Drive? According to Realtor.com, the home has been sold twice since the murders, and it's currently off the market. So that's the Chris Coleman story. Here's another one that is in Dodge. Chandler Halderson. Chandler Halderson killed his parents. Did you guys follow this one? Yeah, Chris Coleman happened in 2009. Hey, Figment. Yes, Chris Coleman happened in 2009 and Watts was 2018. So quite a few years in between there, but isn't it weird? Chris and Sherry, Chris and Shanann, Ron and what was her name? Connie, and then Ronnie and Cindy. Hey, Dr. Malmo. Happy Thanksgiving. Okay, Chandler Halderson. In the days before Bart and Krista Halderson were reported missing, their son Chandler was arrested for allegedly making inconsistent statements to police. Chandler Halderson was accused of killing and dismembering his father, Bart, and his mother, Krista. After initially reporting them missing, he said he hadn't heard from them since July 2nd, and he was arrested for lying about their whereabouts. So he reported them missing July 7th. And then it looks like on July 8th, remains were found, first set of human remains. And then they were confirmed to be Bart Halderson. And then the detectives speak with a repairman who visited the home. And okay, so he was arrested not even a week later. Then they found shell casings in the home, and then they found more human remains. And then on July 15th, he was officially charged with murder. And they found more remains at the house that same month. Okay, yuck. After human remains identified as Bart and Krista were found scattered around Dane County, Chandler was charged with 2 counts each of first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, hiding a corpse, and providing false information on a missing person. A not guilty plea was entered after he stood mute in court when the charges were read. After a multi-week trial, jurors returned guilty verdicts on all 8 counts after deliberating for just a couple of hours. And it looks like this trial is online too for your viewing pleasures. It looks like it's about 8 days long, closing arguments and then verdict. And that's Chandler right here. He's appealing. That's a part of his appeal. But he did a 48 hours. So I guess that would be interesting to watch. Wait, before he was arrested, hours before he was arrested, he spoke with News 3 about his parents' disappearance. He didn't want to be on camera, but did allow the conversation to be recorded.
All I would really want to ask you is just if there's any information that you feel like, would be worthwhile for us to share, anything that you feel like is important for us to share, just anything
Thanks,
like
Amy.
that, of that nature.
So my last message I got from them, they were going to White Lake for the 4th of July. There's some festivities that go around there, better drink prices at the bars, stuff like that for, White Lake, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that,
JD, it's
their plan, or
you have to stand down.
to my knowledge, they were going to Langlade County to a cabin, their cabin. Along the way, they could have stopped many places. I wouldn't know all of them. But it's about 3 hours north of Madison, or Dane County.
And they left then a week ago today on the 1st?
Friday morning.
So that would have been the 2nd, right, of July when they left.
Yes.
And that's the last you'd heard of them?
Yes, it is.
And then was it yesterday that you called the sheriff's office, or someone with your family called the sheriff's office just to...
I go back on that. I actually got a text from them on Sunday telling me they were going to White Lake.
Okay.
I don't know when the text was sent because of reception issues that they would have, and they usually turn their phone off because of pay for roaming.
Yeah.
It could have been whenever they sent that message that they made it safely, and they're going to White Lake for the 4th.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So it was probably the last couple of days that you started to get nervous then. Is there people, we see comments, people say, are they up north? Is the cell service bad? Could they, just not be able to get a hold of? Is there anything that you feel like is kind of going on here that leads you to be a little bit more nervous that that's not the case?
My aunt went up there and was able to call me while she was at the cabin.
Okay.
So she was able to call me. I don't know what provider she's using, but U.S. Cellular would take up most of Wisconsin, so they'd be able to call today because this weekend it was packed. I get that, packed. Maybe the weather wasn't great for messaging. Yeah, so who knows?
And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about was a lot of the comments, people were concerned or kind of wanted some clarification about the vehicle, right? Because the reports from the sheriff's office say they didn't have a car, or there wasn't a car with them.
They were picked up by their friends, who I never got the name of, and I assumed it was someone I was aware of, like the close neighbors of theirs up the street. Or,
he claimed they just got picked up by some random he didn't know.
So that's what I assumed. I never really asked any further into it, and so they got picked up, and they all went up there by another couple.
Picked up here?
Yeah, here at my house.
Okay.
Before I woke up, they had everything packed up and already gone.
And you don't know who?
No.
Jeez.
That's that has happened before, where they just kind of head out before I leave, or I wake up. I'm a heavy sleeper. I'm on a schedule. I wake up at 6 to feed the dogs, and they were out before 6.
He's got way too much information. So this was literally a few hours before this Chandler Halderson was arrested. So he's also in Dodge Correctional. So we know, Daryl Brooks is going to be going there. So we've got one other thing to go over, and this is just complete smut reporting, but since it's Thanksgiving and Chris Watts is wearing orange, we're going to talk about it because I've got so much that I want to talk about with this Idaho case, but I'm putting it aside today because it's Thanksgiving. That is disgusting, Dr. Melmo. And Dr. Melmo, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. So this is just smut. I don't even believe this. So we're just going to do this as what do you call that? Satire. To me, this is complete satire, but we're going to go through it. Murder, because it's that ridiculous. Murderer Chris Watts feeds his ego. So not only did he get a traditional Thanksgiving complete with pumpkin pie and skim milk for dessert, but he feeds his ego by writing racy letters to women from prison. And this is per a source. Per a source. And that's as much as we're going to get. A source. This was published yesterday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, so it says, as Watts serves the remainder of his years behind bars, a source spilled that Watts is buying his time by sending racy letters back and forth with several female fans. And then they post this picture. Does that plate have Watts DNA? We've discussed this picture. Okay. We've discussed this picture. And I think it's kind of funny how we kind of came to the conclusion that he was wearing a waist trainer. That he was wearing a waist trainer when he was arrested. Jay Lord says that's just nasty. Just nasty. He's got still the creases from the waist trainer. He did get himself slim though, didn't he? He got himself all slim just to go to prison. So here's the source. Quote, they send sexy pictures and he responds. The source, who has spoken with the convicted murderer from behind bars, dished of his extracurricular activities. There are a lot of women who think he's handsome and misunderstood. They send a lot of letters. Corroborate. I don't think my sound bites are working, but I wish they would. Because I need to play that right now. I wish you could hear. Corroborate. They send a lot of letters. Watts is able to buy paper, writing utensils, and stamps from the prison commissary. And despite the nature of his guilty conviction, there are no rules that say he is unable to correspond with strangers via letters, as long as there is believed to be no threat to anyone's safety. And although nude photos are prohibited, suggestive pictures and written content are allowed. So, yeah, it makes you kind of wonder. Back to the Catogate days. I wonder what those letters said. Risky, risky. He's got nothing else to do, quote. This is a quote, again, from the source. So he feeds his ego in that way because he's not popular at all in prison, the source added. He's in protective custody. The only outlet he has is with these letters. The insider also noted that the amount of letters have only increased since the 2020 premiere of Netflix true crime documentary detailing his vicious slayings, American Murder, The Family Next Door. I don't know what he's hoping to get out of these letters, the source continued, but these women are very important to him. They're all he's got. I don't believe any of this. I don't believe. The source spoke with people about Watts' racy letters. Well, guess what? I say about sources that talk to people. Did you guys know that a source also spoke to people about Billy Joe? And a source who was unnamed spoke and said, oh, she's the one that got her daughter to confess, and Billy Joe did this and that and the other. Now, if that was the case, why would law enforcement not say that? I'm not saying I don't believe that people write Watts. I know they do. I know they do. I mean, there's been people we've seen people on YouTube that have left their husband with small children because they were in love with Chris Watts. I mean, trust me, I know they do. But this source thing, I don't believe. But yeah, a source talked to people. You can find it. Oh my God, Angie B. I'm not answering that. I'll let Sandman answer that question. But I just don't know if I believe this actual source, and that I don't know. I mean, who knows? I guess I should believe it because it's probably more believable than not. But I just don't know. That's all, they're so important to him. Like, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Chris Watts. Not how I feel about him, but I used to think a certain way about him. Like, I looked at him as more kind of like a, I don't want to say, that's not the right word. Not a victim, but kind of just like someone who's just like a doormat. But I think he could have been different behind the scenes. And I know people have said this for a long time, but I never picked up on it. But there's just been things that I've noticed. Yeah, I know that Billy Joe said that, but I don't believe Billy Joe. Do you? Billy Joe left that kid alone with a woman who she knew is addicted to cocaine. So Billy Joe, to me, her credibility was in the toilet a long time ago. Dr. Melmo, say it like it is. Say it like it is. All right, so I wanted to show you guys another thing from Dodge. So they also, hold on. They also, you can order shit. Check this out. There's like magazines or catalogs, rather. Where did I find that? General? Yeah, right here. Ordering hobby and or personal property items for an inmate. Order online from Jack L. Marcus and Union Supply. Let's look at Jack Marcus. And then there's this other one, Union Supply. Let's see. Please select one of our... Oh, you have to log in to even see it? Shit. Oh, I didn't know you had to log in. I thought we could look at all the items that you could buy. That's janky. Oh my gosh. Dr. Mama, I don't think so. I don't think that would go over well. No, it doesn't let me see. Okay, here it is. So this would be... Hold on. Here it is. Okay. This is... They can get music CDs. Look, they can get dad shoes. Oh, there's no catalog. It just shows you here. This is just an example. Dad shoes. Cool button ups. Is that like a little TV? You can get boxes of shit. There's hats in there. I don't know what that thing is sticking up. M&Ms, Oreos. Hold on. I got to fix the screen so you guys can see all this. See the dad shoes? Dad shoes, button ups. Yes, that's Rihanna CD. It is. It is. Uh-huh. Nike, Freestyle, Optic Nerve, and much more. Union Supply offers offender and family package programs. Union Supply Direct delivers quality and value while eliminating the chance of contraband entering your facilities and packages sent directly from family members. I remember back in the day, there was someone that I knew that got put in the county jail, and you could literally go there and like drop off a t-shirt and have him. It was like in the early 90s, but you could literally go to the county jail and be like, hey, can you I want to give this to so-and-so. But you guys, I mean, he's getting boxes of this shit. But like, I get it, why they want, they don't want families dropping stuff off anymore. Hi, K Smalls. Hi, Black Eagle. Wouldn't it? It's a great idea. I mean, they have all these goods, so then you can just buy a box and they get all this shit. Hey, John. But yeah, I mean, all name brand stuff. I thought they just got like tidy whities and some t-shirts. Look at this: headphones, electric razors, batteries. Look at Pitbull, Adele, Vans, Adidas, Gillette, chapstick, anything you could imagine. Yeah, exactly, Mike Sander. They trade. You can type in a state. It shows you what they can get. Oh, I see. Wisconsin. No, it takes me to this login again. JL Marcos. Let's see what that is. You literally have to log in. Oh, let's try putting Wisconsin. No. It's down for maintenance. It's down for Thanksgiving. So yeah, I mean, it looks like he can get quite a bit of stuff, Like, what are you really missing besides the outside world? Which, who's really missing that anymore anyways? Just saying. But yeah, you get hobby products. Like, down here it says... Where was it? Something about they said they give out free yarn. And I was like, are these guys knitting? But yeah, anyways. That is Thanksgiving with Chris Watts in Dodge Correctional. What is Mega Agency? Black Friday, yes, Parawoman. That is so funny. It's Black Friday. It's pre-Black Friday madness on the commissary site. It's pre-Black Friday madness. Speaking of Black Friday, tomorrow I am doing the drawing for this TV, and this is your last 24 hours to get into, not even 18 hours to get into this drawing. I'm going to be drawing it tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. And what you do to get in is send at least $10, donate to the stream, J is for Justice at PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo, and you will get in on that, and we'll draw it tomorrow. Black Eagle says, I'm mowing down on pumpkin cheesecake. First of all, no one else knows that term, mowing down. I'm so glad you said that, because everyone that I've ever said that to is like, what's mowing down? Exactly, Potato. Why would you, right? And we have a lot to talk about tomorrow. We have updates, weekly updates, and then we also have I think I might do a members only on the Idaho stream with some things that I want to talk about and have more of an intimate like conversation about it. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm just throwing ideas out there, but I do have some stuff I want to talk about with the Jeremy dude in mind that we've been talking about. I think it might, yeah, it is. But guess what? I got pumpkin whipped cream. So what I did was I got vanilla cheesecake and I've got pumpkin whipped cream, like the Ready Whip, but it's pumpkin flavored. So I'm going to put that on the vanilla cheesecake. So I hope you guys all had a happy Thanksgiving. I hope that this was lighthearted and fun for you guys to kind of just go through this. And again, in Dodge, this is what they're getting. They're getting traditional Thanksgiving dinner like we have. So happy Thanksgiving, you guys. Black Friday tomorrow. I'm going to be rolling out some new merch after Black Friday, so it's going to be awesome. So I will see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. Again, last day for the giveaway. And that 32-inch smart TV will be sent right to your house if you win. So dance it out. Gobble, gobble. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, Dr. Malmo. Enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving. Bye, guys.
I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. Damn, 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 damn. You wanna be, you